Once upon a time, there was a bustling city filled with tall buildings and busy streets. The buildings were very tall, their windows shining in the sunlight like tiny mirrors. The streets were crowded with cars and people, always in a hurry. David lived in this city, but he dreamed of the quiet and peace of the countryside. One summer, David finally got the chance to go camping for the first time with his dad. They packed their truck and set off on their adventure. The truck was loaded with camping gear, and the city slowly disappeared behind them, replaced by rolling hills and open fields. As they drove, they almost ran out of gas. The fuel gauge was just above empty, and David's heart beat fast with worry. Just when they thought they might be stranded, they reached the campsite and saw an old man with a gas tank. The campsite was in a forest clearing, surrounded by tall, old trees. The old man wore a worn hat and had a kind smile. He gave them enough gas to last their trip. David and his dad thanked him. They set up their camp and decided to explore. They hiked up a trail and found a pristine lake at the top of a valley. The lake was very clear, reflecting the blue sky and fluffy white clouds. From the edge, they could look down at the valley below, a patchwork of green fields and forests. They sat by the lake, listening to the trees rustle in the wind. The leaves whispered secrets to each other, and the air was filled with the fresh smell of pine and earth. It was a moment of pure peace and beauty, something David had never experienced in the city. As night fell, they returned to their campsite. The sky turned a deep shade of blue, dotted with twinkling stars. The campfire crackled, casting a warm, orange glow. David and his dad slept in the back of their truck's camper, feeling safe and cozy. The truck's camper was like a little nest, with soft blankets and the gentle sounds of the forest outside. In the morning, they prepared to leave. The first light of dawn bathed the forest in a soft, golden light. They began by gathering their belongings, folding blankets, and packing away their gear. David and his dad worked together to put out the campfire, pouring water over the remaining embers until they sizzled and smoked. The smell of wet ashes mixed with the fresh morning air. However, as they were packing the last of their things, they saw a bear running through the woods. It ran straight up into the top of a tree. The bear was powerful and majestic, its fur dark and glossy. It paused and stared at them, its claws dug deep into the tree, eyes shining with curiosity. David and his dad stood still, their hearts racing. The bear's breath was visible in the cool morning air, creating small clouds that floated away. After a moment, the bear slowly turned and walked off into the forest. Its powerful form moved gracefully between the trees, disappearing into the shadows. They finished loading the truck, making sure nothing was left behind. The campsite looked untouched, the only sign of their stay being the put-out fire pit. They climbed into the truck, and as they drove away, the forest seemed to wave goodbye, the leaves rustling softly in the gentle breeze. They took a final look at the beautiful valley, knowing this adventure would stay with them forever. The sunlight streamed through the trees, casting long golden rays across the land, making everything look like a scene from a dream. David knew he would always remember this trip, the adventure, and the beauty of nature. The memory of the serene lake, the rustling trees, and the bear would stay with him forever, a reminder of the wonders beyond the city.